So this is a video I pulled off of a security feed. This is about 10:40 this morning, September 26th, in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, kind of close to Second North Pier. But middle of the screen below, you see some people just waiting. They're kind of waiting around. There's about maybe 6 or 7 people there having a good time. Dead center of your screen, they're maybe in knee-deep water. What they don't realize is there's a little drop off and it goes up, down, and up to a sandbar. They're right smack dab. They waited out in the worst possible spot. They're right middle of a rip current. Now the rip current, if you see the white foamy stuff in front of them, that's the main section of the rip current, and they're right smack dab in the middle of it. And this shows you how fast you get pulled out by a rip current. Now as you see the groups kind of breaking apart a little bit, they're having fun, jumping up and down. In a moment here, the video's going to skip a little bit, glitch a little bit, but you see it glitches kind of back to, a couple seconds before, but you'll see people kind of having a good time, like I said, and then it shows you how fast rip currents can pull you out. Now, do you see that? 2 of the people just fell into that little trough there, and now they get quickly pulled out. I said the video glitched there, but you see there's 2 individuals got pulled out. One kind of made it back in a little bit, and the other one is stuck right smack dab in the middle of that rip current. Now the other one just got pulled out. So there's 2 of them in that rip current. So they're kind of both struggling now. And the worst thing you can do is walk against the current. Now, there's no panic in their face right now. They're all kind of calm. You see the people on the beach picking up, shells and shark's teeth, not really paying attention to what's going on. But that'll change fairly fast. Now you see one person get pulled out and 2 people kind of like further in from them. And they're all kind of struggling. They kind of, like I said, the video is kind of glitchy. So I pulled this off the security camera on a hotel. See, the one's now starting to struggle on the far outer right. He's trying to swim, but he's struggling. He's moving against that current. A rip current will pull you straight out. Now, it's not very wide, this rip current. If you swim parallel to shore, you basically swim out of it. But instead, he's pulling himself against it. Now, you see he's actively trying to swim. Waves are hitting him, and he's actually moving backwards. He's not moving forwards. One of the person kind of got themselves out of it. The other person is going over to help. Now you see the people on shore still aren't too concerned. Now they're kind of pointing out at what's going on, and you see both those people getting pulled out. So what the third person's in front. Like I said, this video is kind of glitchy a little bit. It goes back and forth a little bit, but now you see the 2 people getting pulled out. The person on shore, of course, is pointing, saying, hey, what's going on out there? The person to the far right on the screen, kind of looking, he's telling people to get out of there. And then they're struggling. There's 2 people getting pulled out to the left. You see that they're getting pulled out to the left. Guy in the gray shirt on the beach decides to run in and help, but unfortunately that's not going to do much good. He runs in, so right now he's not in the rip current where he's running in at. Those people are standing at the beginning of the rip current. There's that third person there who's standing there on the outside of the rip current before the full forces, and they're getting pushed out and they're struggling against this. Now, this time of year, there's not very many lifeguards that are active. What they do is they kind of flag off areas you're not supposed to swim in because there's no lifeguard on duty. This is kind of one of those areas, especially around these piers. There's really bad rip currents around these piers. Now you see the guy running up. He's coming out there. He just, see how fast he got to him? He got pulled right to that rip current, right into them. The other third person kind of came back into shore. So part of the group's on shore, part of them's there. People are kind of watching the commotion going on shore. There is a lifeguard station to the far left. Like I said, this time of year, you know, the lifeguards aren't, you know, fully staffed. It's September. So the season's winding down. Now you see 3 people stuck out there struggling. The person that went in to save them, he can't get them out. Now he's going to be struggling as well too. That's what I'm assuming from the video. Didn't talk to the person. Don't know if he was struggling personally, but he's not making it in. He's having trouble trying to pull them in. So if he would have pulled, he's trying to pull them against the current to the right. He should be just pulling them straight to the left, and then eventually the waves will wash them back ashore. Especially with that onshore current. The wind's blowing right on shore right now. That's where the waves are coming from. So you see, he's kind of struggling there. This goes on for a while. Video glitched again. Another guy you see in the far right, he's trying to take off his shoes. And his sweater looks like to go in, but that's not going to help as well either. Another person just jumped in. And, you know, people want to help these people out, but if you're not a good swimmer or you're wearing all your clothing, you're going to be part of the problem as well, too. Like I said, the lifeguard's going to come in here in a second. But you see the people struggling to get in there. Hopefully people at this moment are calling 911, letting them know there's people in trouble in the water. You see the one person in the middle right there is still part of that one group. The guy in the gray is coming from the right is going to kind of try to come out there. Video is, like I said, very grainy. It's not a high quality video from a security feed. I wish it was higher quality so you can see. But this is kind of a training moment for everybody to see how fast you can get in trouble. First rule of going anywhere, any body of water, is swim at your own risk. Only go in as far as you think you are able to. Ask the lifeguard how bad it is. You know, swim right in front of the lifeguard as well too. But now you have 4 people at risk. You see the other guy just got pulled out, and the one guy that walked out there, he's standing in. He can't get out. The waves are just too much for him. When you're in a situation like that, you want to get past the waves really fast. You duck dive. You basically dive, swim underneath the wave and come up, swim underneath the wave and come up. I was a lifeguard out here for 10 years. So you see the people waving. I believe they're waving at the lifeguard, pointing out to where they are. But like I said, I was a lifeguard in Myrtle Beach for 10, 11, 12 years. It's been so long, I can't remember. This is back in the 80s. Back in the 90s. I pulled a lot of people out of the water, but this is a multi-person rescue. So you have 4 victims in the water now. Here comes a lifeguard to your far left. There's another person going to swim out too. I'm assuming that's someone maybe that was off duty, or because he doesn't have a buoy on him. This one has a rescue buoy. See the other person. You see how he dove underneath the water? Another person coming out. He dove underneath the water. He's duck diving. He dove underneath the water. So it's definitely someone's had lifeguard training. The second person, he dives under the water to get past that breaker. And the people are just trapped. They can't get in at all. There's 4 people that need rescued now. So he dives under the water. He dives under the water. And this all happened. They got pulled out, if you saw, within seconds. And that's why I tell people, when you enter the ocean, have the mental capacity and the visual perception to know that you're swimming at your own risk and the ocean is a dangerous place. Now their lifeguards got them. He's swimming out to them. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 people they have to pull in. Lifeguard's handing the buoy to the person that looks like most exhausted. So now there's 6 people in that clump right there. Next, you're going to see one of the lifeguard trucks pull up See, now they're kind of out. They're on the sandbar right there, and he's kind of pulling him in. Now, there's going to be a little trough right there. They got to get the people through. But a good pull will get these people pulled through, because they're not in the rip current anymore. Rip current's to their right. I'm sorry, to the far right where that foamy water is. And then you see the anxious people in their group, wanting to, have them be safe. But you have to be situationally aware whenever you get into the ocean, what's going on, where the safe places to swim are. Swimming near a pier is never safe. There's always rip currents. Here comes another rescue vehicle, another lifeguard vehicle coming up. They got the people out of the water. Luckily, besides this, a lot of scary moments, nobody was lost. They pulled all the people out of the water. So that could have been a very bad situation. Every time you go in the ocean, you should always check the weather forecast. There's rip current warnings on the Weather Channel today. Even if you're wading in knee-deep water, you gotta be careful. Especially if you're a non-swimmer, you don't know the ocean really well, you get pulled out in a second. An experienced ocean person even might panic, but I've been in rip currents tons of times as a lifeguard. For me, it's fairly easy to kind of like swim out to one direction and get away from the rip current, and then swim in, and then use the waves to my advantage to get myself in. But as you see, they're all kind of in shallow water now. What I might try to do is, work on this video again, post up another version, and circle the main characters, maybe do an abbreviated version. But as you see, there's a lifeguard wrapping up his buoy. Everyone's getting pulled in, and then more rescue vehicles start showing up. But then it looks like the group's kind of reunited again. But you see how exhausted the people are coming in. One guy can barely walk. They got to kind of pick him up and carry him. That's how exhausting swimming against that current can be. I can't tell if it was a woman or a man. The video screen's not very good, but 6 people wading, just knee deep. They go to waist deep. Next thing you know, a big wave comes up. They get swept off their feet and pulled straight out. So just be careful out there. Even if there's a lifeguard there, a lifeguard's not a guarantee you're not going to drown. Lifeguards try their best to save people, to be proactive, but you got to look out for yourself first. See the person laying on the ground? I believe that's the guy that went out there to try to help. But you see how exhausted he is laying on the ground. But definitely be safe out there. Even if there's a lifeguard on duty, like I was saying, there's no guarantees. Just use your head, have situation awareness, and if you can't swim that well, don't even go above your knees. Thanks. Have a very